My name is Aimée Beaubien, and I've been working on an installation in 062 called Rooted, Looping, Scrambling, Rambling, Tangling, Twining Tendrils. One day, a wild, fast-growing vine appeared near me. I began tracking its voracious progress as it slinked around the garage, through the yard, and along the side of our home. Mesmerized by this vine's steadfast embrace of all that it encounters, I began modeling forms of creating after the various ways that vines touch their surroundings. I learned to use photographs as material that can be manipulated while creating collages with my great-grandmother when I was a kid. Throughout the seasons and over her lifetime, my great-grandmother photographed what grew around her, and I've inherited these early drugstore prints that are now soaked in glowing oranges and screaming in degrees of hot pinks. The effects of time on the color of her snapshots hover in my imagination and influence the decisions that I make about color in my work. We reach out with photography to hold on to fleeting moments and ephemeral matter. From its origins, photography has been a means of capturing, accumulating, and sharing information. We photograph to gather, to possess, to understand. Through the experience of collage, I investigate photographic depiction and material form. About 5 years ago, I started to push my photographic collages into large-scale installations, exploring associations between the garden, the ephemeral, and the photographic. Gardens are collections displaying life cycles that bloom, intertwine, and die. Some qualities of the garden run parallel to the nature of photography. Both can be defined by interactions of the scientific, the accidental, and the temporal. Inside my home studio, plants mingle with huge tangles of cut and woven photographs that dangle down from the ceiling. I photograph the ever-changing conditions in my studio as plants dry and projects grow. I manipulate my saturated photographs into a series of moving parts, pushing their capacity to change and transform. And since plant matter coexists in my studio with photographs of plants, I found myself incorporating dried botanical elements into my installations. Death is steeped in photography and dried plants. I map networks of meaning and association between the real and the ideal, memory and the photographic, to explore the ever more complicated sensations of reading a photograph and experiencing nature. I pulled down the vine that wrapped itself around our garage, and it was the first thing that I stretched into this exhibition space. Plants eternally bloom in photographic reproduction. I twisted braided photographs into vine forms and physically linked everything to plants with twining paracord. Hung throughout 062 is a collection of fallen leaves. Motivated by the poetics, I've gold-leafed leaves and created leaf drawings with a 3D pen to reanimate their life force. The layered relationships between physical object, pictured object, and material image are like a hall of mirrors reflecting back conditions of distraction and hyperstimulation. Inside rooted, looping, scrambling, rambling, tangling, twining tendrils, everything is interconnected, and the overall effect fights for attention to focus on a single photographic moment.